Now on Talking Solutions, Sonia Anderson with Andson. Welcome back.
Thank you, Terry.
April is Financial Literacy Month, and what do you guys do as a charity for kids here in Southern Nevada but provide financial literacy awareness and lessons?
Yes, we have a very well-balanced financial literacy curriculum that starts from kindergarten and goes all the way into an adult program. Our elementary school program is probably the best one in the country because it's a year-round program. We teach it in the class during the school year, and that we coupled with our piggy bank program, the only program of its kind in the country. So since I last spoke with you, we've grown leaps and bounds. We now have 5 piggy banks. I think last time I was on the program, we had 3.
Right.
And our kids have saved over $400,000 in those 5 piggy banks.
Wonderful.
And the most exciting thing is that we were just funded by the Vegas Golden Knights Foundation to add the 6th piggy bank at Ava Wolf Elementary School with the new school year. And we have 2 more in the working, so we haven't received full funding for those yet, so I can't disclose them. But without fail, by the next school year, we'll have 6 to 8 piggy banks.
Sonia, it was the press release talking about the Vegas Golden Knights Foundation awarding a big check to you guys that made me call you.
That was so exciting for us, and it was so exciting for the kids. They came to the school and we did a big check presentation. The Golden Knights dancers were there and the drummers, and even the president of the Golden Knights Foundation was there to hand deliver the check to us. So it was a really exciting day.
But Sonia, was Chance there?
Chance was there. Yes, we have many, many photos of Chance eating the heads of the teachers, and the Vegas Golden Knights Foundation provided Golden Knights t-shirts. Every child, 540 students, had a Golden Knights t-shirt on, and it was so exciting for them.
Well, you know, as most people around Southern Nevada, I am a big Golden Knights fan. Love this team because of the difference they make in our community.
Absolutely, and I'm not a big hockey fan or a big sports fan, but literally they have changed the landscape for hockey. I've gone to a number of games, and the Canadians that come to our game all say that it's the best hockey game they've ever been to because, like anything we do in Vegas, it's entertaining.
If we do it so well that we're impressing Canadians, well, that's Las Vegas.
Yes.
Sonia Anderson is here with Andson, the charity. I've had you in several times. I love talking about what you do for Clark County school kids. And you were the genesis of this charity.
Yes, my business prior to this was debt management credit counseling. And over those almost 25 years, we served over 100,000 clients across the country. I learned over the years that every one of those clients had the resources, had the money within their budget to pay their bills. What they lacked was the budgeting skills and the discipline. And that stems from not being educated in financial literacy. Families don't talk about money. That's one of the things we have the most difficult time talking to our children about because no family wants to let their child know that they're struggling. Coming from a very, very poor upbringing, I know that. But fortunately for me, I literally took over the family finances when I was 8 years old. My parents were both illiterate. My mother did not know how to count money. Watching her trying to struggle and figure out how is she going to pay the bus fare and all of that, I was like, well, Mom, let me help you do that. So I started doing that. So I am, one of these fortunate poor kids that was able to learn financial literacy. And then I came to the U.S. and I went to college here. My son was born. I was very, very young. After he was born, I went back to college. Throughout that time as a single mom, I had to make ends meet. Then, God has a mysterious way of working out things. I ended up working for a credit counseling company, which I ended up co-owning. I married the owner of that company. We open offices all over the country. And it's very, very heartbreaking to see the lack of skills families don't have, especially young families.
Andson is a 501c3 charity. This whole issue of financial literacy, especially for kids, that's where it needs to start so that we have well-educated, stable financial adults.
Yes, Terry. When I sold my business in 2008, I took the proceeds from that sale and started this nonprofit. And I thought I'm going to teach the high school kids before they graduate and before they go off to college. And that was the solution to all the financial hurdles that we face. Found out very quickly it was too late as a high school senior. So we started backtracking. We went down one grade literally every few months, and we got to 5th or 6th grade and then realized that this is more than just teaching them financial literacy, it's teaching them life skills. Because in Clark County, we struggle with the academics portion also. So what Andson did, we very hurriedly added a homework help and tutoring program to our module of programs that we do and started teaching them. It was like we're teaching the whole child. We also got the curriculum down to kindergarten because I learned along the way in credit counseling that people struggled with finances because they didn't have budgeting skills. I learned from high school that it needs to start earlier. And as we went backwards into, one grade down, we realized that it needs to be from very, very early childhood. It has to be a learned life skill. And that's why we develop curriculum that starts from kindergarten. Then being in the schools and interacting with the parents, we realized that there needs to be a parent engagement portion of this. So we added what we call the parent engagement take-home worksheets. Every lesson that the kids are taught in the classroom, they get to take home a sheet and work with their parents. So we're teaching the whole family.
That is so important, sadly.
Yeah, it is. And what's most impressive is that we have about an 82% parent participation, which is unheard of, especially for English language learner families. They are actually working these sheets and learning about budgeting and smart spending with their kids.
That is so great. The charity that we're talking about today on Talking Solutions is Andson, and the founder, Sonia Anderson, is with us. Financial literacy, as you created this charity because you saw the need, was there any of this kind of education that existed in schools like CCSD before?
No, nothing like our program. There are other organizations out there that has financial literacy at the high school level and some very minimal for the middle school level. There is Jumpstart, which does J in a day in the classrooms. But what we thought is that we needed a program that will supplement all of those, that it has to be a year-round habit. And a habit cannot be learned one time a year. It has to be something integrated into the everyday learning for a child, especially a young child of kindergarten or pre-kindergarten. So we developed a year-round curriculum that's taught in the classroom throughout the school year. And we are the only one that has a curriculum like that in the state of Nevada. And happy to tell you that we have expanded. Our curriculum is now being utilized in Arkansas, Arizona, Missouri, and it's been in Texas for a number of years.
Because this is an issue everywhere.
Absolutely. And last year, we created a digital platform where all of our curriculum was placed on an Adobe platform, which with a login, any educator anywhere in the world basically can access our curriculum and teach it to students. And that's the scalability that we worked for 8 years to build, and we're there now.
And this is information that you're just openly sharing with educators.
Absolutely. And it is because we have developed it and created it to where the teacher can be a facilitator and teach this. The teacher does not have to create curriculum. They don't have to search for it. It's there at their fingertips. And the cost for providing this to an entire school for an entire school year is just between $4,000 and $5,000, depending on the size of the school. So it costs us to provide our curriculum to a teacher $150 per year to teach an entire classroom.
Not just a student.
Not just a student. $150 will teach financial literacy to an entire classroom for an entire year. And that $150 just goes for us to pay the license fees to the software provider.
Sonia Anderson with Andson, you tell me that you can provide that curriculum to a teacher for a whole class of students for $150 a year. You are good at budgeting.
Yes, we are. And it took a lot of work. We started this. My family invested a lot of money into creating it. And then our supporters and donors, we have a budget of over $1 million a year. That comes from donors, corporations, and individual donors, and our fundraising events that provides the resources that we need to create this curriculum and deploy it to educators.
And of course, the occasional big check from the Vegas Golden Knights Foundation.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the piggy bank program. The piggy bank program is so important because our surveys is over 90% of the families of the students that we teach are unbanked families. And this is primarily payday loans, check cashing places, the grocery store, and all of that. And they don't have an actual bank account. So the only way a child is going to learn about banking is for someone else to teach it to them. That's why we created the piggy bank program, where we have an actual bank in these schools. And this is the sixth school that the Vegas Golden Knights Foundation has just funded. So there is a bank, an actual bank, a room. It has teller stations. It has a vault door. It has a television that shows a running total of what they saved. And most of all is that these kids are assigned a bank account and they have unique credentials, their login information, and families can log in and see their bank account, just like a real bank. So we're teaching them something that they wouldn't otherwise learn at home. And best of all is they're teaching their parents.
I love this. And you talked, Sonia, about the parental engagement rate, the percentage being so high, so many of them participating. It can be surprising when you first find out that such a high number of these parents are non-banking, as you said. They don't have the standard checking accounts. They don't have savings accounts. They don't have the banking history like some other people may have had throughout the years.
Banking is intimidating, especially for a non-English speaking person, and they may be undocumented or they may be in the process of getting their documentation. So those are threatening things. They're not going to walk into a bank and the bank asks for credentials, and sometimes they may not have that. And then the other thing is ethnic population historically, and my family are originally from India, they tend to stick together and they stick with things that they know. So we provide homework help and tutoring to a large Ethiopian population. I don't know of any Ethiopian-owned banks that they can go in and be able to talk to someone in their own language and in their own comfort zone. Those are challenges that our families face. So we came up with the idea, and we are very, very busy at Andson. We have financial literacy, we have homework help and tutoring. How do we involve the parents? So we developed the parent engagement worksheet, the parent surveys. In the surveys, we get to learn what the parents are not comfortable with, what's too difficult for them. Over 8 years, it's given us the opportunity to change and fix it to their comfort level.
That's really interesting what you're saying. We have such a diverse population here in Southern Nevada. I mean, UNLV, for instance, is one of the most diverse schools anywhere. Our community is comprised of all these wonderful groups from different places, but they all do have different needs. And that's a really good point to bring up, and to get them involved and to get them also through their kids and their involvement with your charity, Andson, and financial literacy. A lot of this knowledge has got to be shared across the ages with their parents, so everybody in the house is smarter at the end.
Yeah, I've told you before, and I mentioned earlier, my parents were illiterate. I taught my mom how to count money. I put the pencil in my mother's hand and we practiced writing her name and writing the ABCs. We taught my parents how to read. So with that in my background, I know it works. I know that a child can make the difference in a family's life. And coming from where my parents were illiterates, their parents were illiterates, to where my son has dual master's degrees. I have nieces in their 30s that have PhDs, and this is just 2 generations away, all because one child was able to help a parent. So I am giving back to society is what society gave me.
Education can change the entire trajectory of not just one person, but everyone in that family as far as strengthening their knowledge and their skills and where they go in life.
Yeah. So my CPA, who does the certified audit, as a nonprofit, we have to do a certified audit, and he's sitting with me and, well, how many students did you serve? How many teachers did you hire? And he just sat back in his chair and said, Sonia, this is just amazing. Do you know what you're actually doing for this community? And I'm like, I'm helping kids, saving them one child at a time. And he says, no, when you go into a classroom and enable that teacher to educate her students or his students with a program that was not previously available, that classroom becomes more advanced. That school becomes more advanced. The families that are affected or touched by what you do. And he says, and this is the only thing that can actually change the landscape of a community. And that's our goal.
Exponentially. One person, it expands and it grows and it gets bigger.
Yes.
And that's what's happening with Andson.
That is what's happening with Andson. So April is Financial Literacy Month, and it takes $150 to fund a teacher, fund a classroom for an entire year. So the support we need is very, very minimal. Most people that I know spend more than $150 in coffee.
Oh, yeah,
month.
coffee is a big expense.
So a little donation can go a very, very long way.
We're talking about Andson, the financial literacy charity created right here in Southern Nevada to make sure kids know what's going on when it comes to money and budgeting and saving. The savings that you guys are generating through Andson and the Piggy Bank program have got to inspire kids and in turn their parents to do things like save for college, save for schooling.
And that's what it is. When you start out in kindergarten and first grade and we give them a little piggy bank to take home and encourage them to put their coins in there, and then once a week they get to come to the bank and they go up to the teller station with their little passbook and we give them a sticker and And then at the end of the school year, which is coming up next month, the super savers, we call them, they get ice cream parties. It's all encouragement. But when they get to about third grade, then we start savings goals, short-term goals and long-term goals. Third into fourth grade is the importance for saving for college, because there are so many studies out there that shows that if there is a college savings account, regardless of the dollar amount in there, a child is more likely to go to college, 7 times more likely to go to college than if there isn't a college savings account. Because what a college savings account does is starts conversations about college. So you talk about college, you talk about college savings. And Nevada, we happen to have the 529 program in the state treasurer's office, who's been one of our super partners since the beginning, from the time we started. They fund programs for us to be in rural Nevada. We're in Lincoln County and Pahranagat and Pioche. The state treasurer's office funds that, and they're very, very prolific about enabling families to start 529 accounts.
Sonia Anderson is here with Andson, the charity. It's 501c3, and it's helping. I was starting by saying CCSD students, but you have far exceeded the boundaries of the Clark County School District at this point.
Yeah, this organization was founded here. I came here to retire. So Clark County and, the Las Vegas area is always going to be the home of Andson, the financial literacy program and all of that. But this program can help any child anywhere. And I have really exciting news also, Terry. We have an adult program, which we have done in the past. We've done a seniors program. We've worked with veterans with a partnership with the Cosmopolitan Hotel and Resort. But this year, we launched a partnership with the Public Education Foundation, where we're teaching the parents financial literacy while the kids are in school. So we are at Crestwood Elementary and J.T. McWilliams Elementary School, and we teach an adult financial literacy program to the parents on Mondays and Thursdays. It's run for this entire year. And then that program has been so successful that someone from the Pasadena, California area learned about it, and they work with foster girls, both girls and young men, who were rescued from sex trafficking and other abusive relationships. There's a training that we're providing on May 2nd, and they're coming here to take our adult financial literacy program to these girls in Pasadena.
Of course, we put the links and all the information on the Talking Solutions Facebook page, along with a podcast of our discussion today. Sonia Anderson is with us today with Andson, the 501c3 charity. Sonia, just so people understand, it was created to help school kids learn about financial literacy, which was something that you saw that was just non-existent or severely lacking in their education until you created this. So you have this charity, you provide these wonderful services to kids, and over the first few years, you kept backing off the age from high school and younger to the point where you find that the best time to start teaching these kids is kindergarten, getting them involved with all of the educational opportunities through their class, the piggy bank program. But how does it actually function? Because I know you're a charity. I know that you have people helping with these lessons. You're retired, pretty busy for a retired woman, I'd like to add.
Yes.
But you're not physically teaching. Somebody is out there doing this. How does it work?
So the in-class lessons prior to last year, we call them Andson Money Coaches. They were all our employees that we went in the classroom. We taught these lessons during the class time. The school allocated the blocks of time for us and we taught them. But, that's very, very expensive. That means I have to pay all these employees and money coaches and have, full staff to deliver it. Our goal was to perfect it to the point where we can launch it digitally. We did that over last summer. And this summer, of course, there is always updates and new things that you have to add to it. So now in the elementary school classrooms, we have what we call facilitators. So it's either the teacher, and some teachers are not comfortable to teach it. So in those cases, we will have an Andson Money Coach who is the facilitator to teach the class in the classroom. But the lessons are all on video. We have the worksheets on video. We even tell them when to pause, what worksheets, what games to play, and all of that in the video. So it's very self-learning, basically. And then training. We have training materials, teacher manuals, and all of that. And like our Arizona, Arkansas, we train them by video. They log in and Anthony sits in his office and he teaches them. And then we go every so often to handhold and make sure everything is working okay. It's easier for us to do in Las Vegas because, our office is here and
Sure.
someone goes out there. But with the adult programs that we have, there are Andson Money Coaches that are actually teaching the classroom, teaching the parents. And it's all in English and Spanish.
Andson has been around from what you're saying about 8 years or so.
Yeah, February we started our 9th year.
Could you even conceive of this kind of growth?
When I started started this, I sold my business and I came to Las Vegas to retire. And I thought a lot of people start nonprofits and they work a little bit here and there, and that's what I was going to do. I have to tell you, I work more hours now than I've ever worked all my life. Some days I question my sanity, but the most rewarding thing is when you walk into a classroom or when you see the essays that the kids write for us. And we have families that they make little videos thanking us for what we've done for their family. So encouragement that keeps us going. And then, of course, now we have our whole list of donors and supporters, and then the people that support our fundraising events.
You know that I'm a big fan of all the work that you've done. I think it's really cute, though, that you came here, retired, thought, I'll start a 501c3 charity. Maybe I'll dabble in it a little bit. Not happening. You're working like crazy, but it's just exploding.
Yeah, I think that stems a lot from my background, and I can't spend money frivolously. I've never been able to do that. I've never had an assistant. I don't have a bookkeeper. I do payroll for our entire organization, because if I am to spend $50,000 adding an assistant or an office manager, that's about 4 schools that we can provide programs to. That's our philosophy. And yes, it takes a lot of work, but it's so worth it.
How many schools are you involved with at this point with the Andson program?
The Andson program, we're in 11 schools, but the best thing and the most impactful thing that has happened is we partner with the Clark County Libraries. We are in 9 of the Clark County Las Vegas libraries, and those 9 libraries, we've served students from 300 different schools.
So the number of kids is thousands upon thousands.
Yeah, school district has about 360,000 students, but for our program have reached students from 300 schools, which means we're literally in every corner of the Clark County School District.
And now you're doing more education for adults and for parents.
And, all of these programs and staff, we've employed over 400 Clark County teachers as our tutors after school, and the number of employees that we have during the day. And for as much as we do, we have a very small but very hardworking core. We only have 7 full-time employees, but we have over 300 part-time employees. That's how we were able to do what we do. And then in addition to our big donors like the Vegas Golden Knight Foundation, the Southern Highlands Charitable Foundation, they were our first and longtime supporter, and the Governor's Black Tie event. Andson has been one of their benefiting charities. That organization supports our piggy bank programs. It's remarkable. It's impactful, and we're so grateful to them.
Do you find that as people become aware of all the good things that Andson does, improving financial literacy for kids and their whole families, that people like me become big fans of what you do?
Yeah, learning about the programs is awareness. Last year, Winsong Trust funded development of our digital platform. Because of that, this year we have about 8,000 students that are getting financial literacy lessons from that. So when they write a check to us, they don't really know the impact they're supporting an organization. But when we get to send that annual report to them, it was like because of their funding, we were able to create this digital platform that we added 8,000 students to the program.
Going back to the piggy bank program, which I know is one of the big focus areas for Andson, in our previous conversations, I know that when those kids come in with their piggy bank to make their contribution to their account, you're open to taking an amount as small as 1 penny.
Oh, yeah.
And giving them the sticker and encouraging them, because it's not so much the amount of that deposit, it's the fact that they're making a healthy habit of it.
Absolutely. It's the habit of saving, it's the habit of going to the bank, it's the habit of knowing that this is something that I'm setting aside, that it's going to be there. So yes, we encourage them. We never reward for the dollar amount, even though we have several students that have over $4,000 in their accounts.
Wow.
But some of our schools, we have tellers there for 4 hours, and they'll take in 300 deposits, and the total deposits will be $600. But it's the habit of saving, is the encouragement, and it's that they get to go home and tell their parents that I went to the bank today.
It is Financial Literacy Month during April, also celebrating the fact that Andson, this wonderful 501c3 charity, was recognized by the Vegas Golden Knights Foundation as a charity they wanted to be involved with, so they gave a big check and celebrated that. But you guys need other people in the community to also help you do what you do.
Yeah, it takes a community. It takes a community to raise a child. It definitely takes a community to make a difference for our lifestyle and the way we live and the amenities and resources that are available in our city. So yes, donations and funding, like any nonprofit, that's what we survive on. And I already put all my money into the organization. I don't have any more to give.
You're helping for free, but it's really good.
Yeah. May, we have the Andson Driving Education Golf Tournament. That's on May 14th. And with that, golf could be expensive and not everyone can afford the amount of money it takes to go play in a charity golf event at the Southern Highlands Golf Club. However, we have the helicopter ball drop. It's $10 per ball. Balls are dropped out of a Maverick helicopter, and the ball that goes into the hole wins half of the money that we collected from the golf ball sales.
Sure, 50-50. I love those.
Yeah, and over the years, the winner has been around $3,000. So not only can you support a great charity, but you have a chance to win up to almost $3,000.
And you have the chance to donate it back to Andson, which I think is a great idea. Hasn't that happened a couple times?
That happens, yes. That happens. The last 3 years, the winner donated the proceeds back to us. So that's great. And you don't have to donate it back, even though it's wonderful. But just $10. And every 15 balls that we sell will support a classroom for
the whole year.
For the whole year. You can register for the golf tournament or purchase balls at andson.org, andson.org. Or simply calling us 702-785-0020.
It's Andson. Sonia Anderson is the founder of this 501c3 charity. Of course, we talked about it a little bit, but Sonia, I always ask, as part of Talking Solutions, what can we do to help you?
Donations, but volunteers also. There are a lot of opportunities for volunteer, like our golf tournament on May 14th. I need people to help me out on the golf course because, having a full-time staff of only 7 of us, and the majority of our part-time staff actually work during the day, so they're not there to help us out on the golf course. So we can use volunteers there, and we're part of the Southern Highlands Fall Festival in October. We need volunteers. And then with any of our programs, at the Piggy Bank programs, we have 5 schools that every week parent volunteers are a great help to help the kids fill out their deposit slips, get them to and from the classrooms, make sure that they have their little deposit book. So volunteers are great. If you're not able to donate your money, you can donate your time.
It's Andson. All the information, links, and everything on the Talking Solutions Facebook page, along with the podcast of our discussion today. Sonia Anderson, you said you're going on to your 9th year.
Yes, this is our 9th year.
Far beyond anything you could have imagined.
Absolutely.
Has it all been worth it?
Oh, yes. We've served over 90,000 students in 8 years, basically. It's just amazing. We've been given awards all over the state, and we won some national awards that we are literally the fastest growing educational nonprofit.
So proud to have you in Southern Nevada. The charity is Andson. Sonia Anderson, thank you so much for coming to join us today on Talking Solutions.
Thank you, Terry.